Well, what is up everybody? Welcome back to the series in which I exploit Game Builder Garage to do things that I don't think was designed to really be doing. And if you've been watching for this entire series, you know very well that I am trying to build a flight simulator within it. I've been doing a lot more work off camera these past few months and days because the lack of progress that I show when I do everything on camera, it's been a little too slow, and there are some other things that I kind of like to move on to in terms of videos and you know, and that will be coming out very, very soon. And yeah, so where we left off last week is that I believe I did more texture work with some of these buildings and some of these places. Off camera I did a bit of work to add this little block of buildings. It's not done yet, clearly, because I've got to make it a full circle, because I want to have it where it's like, where there's like a little courtyard in the middle. Pretty common if you look at like satellite views of some city buildings, you know, there's always there's some kind of like block that goes around like the entire street, you know, streets block, and there's a little courtyard in the middle, so definitely gonna put that in. There's a bit of cloning ahead. I don't think I did this in the last video, but I believe off camera I programmed in a new texture for the building windows. As you can see, it's not just limited to windows. It is also got the brick pattern in it, just so we can have that feeling of really old buildings. Because, you know, make it look like a city that's well established. You know, kind of like New York City, where it has buildings from like, I don't know how old, but relatively old. There's still a few things that need to be done to the airport. Preferably, it kind of just feels like a building with maybe a runway and a taxiway and nothing else. No real things connecting it to the roads, and yeah, so we need to kind of work with that a bit. Now, one of the big issues that we gotta tackle before release, I'm probably not gonna do it on this video, but off camera, like I've been doing most of the things recently, is the fact that I've got a river here, and it not only does it go way too close to the runway, in fact it even touches like a little bit of it. There's no way to really get water around it. I've noticed some games that actually make the place on an island. I believe I featured a game that does that, and this way they could just make the ground texture a water texture instead of a ground texture as is normal. However, I kind of do want, it would be a bit too limiting for me, because I want this area here, anything past this little line created by the highway, to be like a little watery area, like an ocean or a bay or something. I want to put in a bit of diversity into the 200 meters that I am allowed by the game. It's gonna be hell, because I chose quite a bit of surface area that I gotta cover in order to do this stuff. I definitely reached the block limit then, and I wouldn't even have room for anything like all the blocks that make up the planes and all of that stuff. The problem is that and this is why I've kind of said that Game Builder Garage is so limiting, it wasn't even designed for this. And that's kind of why this series kind of exists, because even though, yeah, we were able to get the core mechanics in, we can't really get, we have to kind of struggle in order to figure out how to make use of all the real estate that we get and all of the area we get, and do our work. It's a bit of a challenge, and that's kind of why I challenged myself into this video series in the first place. And we're already kind of like running through our 512 node on limit. We're at 227 now, and a majority of it is just boxes because of the buildings, the roads, and all the infrastructure that I've put in to make it look like a solid world. So, and that's kind of the challenge behind all this stuff. So yeah, it is pretty important to kind of think of that, I guess. Otherwise, in other news, what had happened in this game is that I have edited the UFO speed once more. Got another comment about that. It's been slowed down to 4.5. It's not the most noticeable of updates, but it is 4.5. I think I might have even slowed it down a little further. Yeah, I set it to 4. So yeah, 4 times the original speed, which was literally snail's pace slow. So it's equally fast and it works. So you know what? I'm not mad. And yeah, this is mostly what has happened. There's a few things that I have to continue doing though. Like I do have to, again, I have to do quite a few things. I've got to work on this patch of whatever and all these things. One of the things I'm probably going to do here in today's video, I'm probably going to put an actual grass pattern over the hills, because as you can imagine, Game Builder Garage uses a default texture which is supposed to kind of like segmentize everything. I want to have a pattern that's kind of a similar structure to the grass pattern, because these hills, they stick out like a sore thumb, and it's not that great. So yeah. Also, I feel like there should be kind of a few more of them. I do need to do some work with the mountain as well, because that is also doing some, because this is a little too blocky, I'd say. It should be a little more climbable, I guess. You know, if we had a person node on instead of a UFO node on, you know, as our character, our main control thing, we wouldn't be able to climb this, obviously. And so, yeah. I still want to keep this kind of flat area, so this way you can just land and, I don't know, look down at the city, maybe snap a pic, you know, something of that variety. Who knows? So, yeah. So, also we need to add in, I think this is a little barren, because we only have like one airport here. And one airport's not going to really cut it. I mean, we should probably have a few smaller airports, so we have a small bit of a challenge for the players, so they have something to go to. And I think we could also do some stuff to make the game less bland. But now to tackle on to something that I kind of mentioned in the last video that was kind of a point for me to deal with, and that's kind of experimenting with the trees. I was planning on putting like a whole forest area into the game so we could make it look, so we could have a little nice forest, you know. Again, add to the diversity in this 200 square meter world we have. That's the big challenge here. And I think that's why they give you so few blocks to work at it with. And I think on top of the hill might be a good idea. You know, maybe place it on top of the hill and just have it run the texture all the time. But here's the problem though, it's getting as tall as the boxes for the city. So I'm just gonna size that down a little bit. I'm just gonna draw a simple tree now. Nothing too complex. Just a tree. Yeah, okay, I was on the hills. And if I just draw in a little I'm just going to draw a simple little tree. I'll be back in a minute or two when I've done that. Alright, so I drew my little tree here. So it looks like something drawn through MS Paint on Windows 3.1, but that's a tree. But yeah, here's the kind of problem I was running into. It's this whole thing with the textures. You see, you look at it from above like you would on a normal flight sim, and it's like, and it just tracks all there. It's like it's acting like an element of UI at this point. But it does keep its size relative to where you are, but that's my big issue with these textures. And even though this might be the most simple tree design that you could probably do with a sphere and a cylinder, the big issue is that I kind of want to branch out into more complex tree designs, you know, kind of like pines or something like that. You know, something that, you know, a variety of trees. So this way we can have a variety of things on the land, and also we can clone it without putting too much damage to our already rapidly shrinking limit for how much we can put down into the game without having to expand to another game world. So yeah, that's our challenge there. So we need to also see if we could program it to make sure that if it rotates to, you know, to face up and down, we can do our thing. Let's see if changing the texture face does that. So, because if we look up, if we look up, it should be the same. No, that isn't changing at all. Alright, so there's our challenge as it is. And yeah. So we do need to kind of work at that. I might have to save that for another video, for another episode in the series. I might do that as an off-camera experimentation thing. But anyways, with that being said, I'm probably going to end the video here. Didn't make much progress elsewhere, but you know what? There's going to be a lot more off-camera, so you know what? So yeah, it's going to be it for today's video, I think, because yeah. But anyways, it's going to be it for today's video, and bye.